Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast.
Hey now, let's get it kicking here. Once again, we are the Sports Buffoons here. My name's Tanner. Joining me, of course, is Mike, and we have JG down there doing whatever the hell he's doing down there, man.
Yo.
Guys, happy Wednesday. Glad to be back on the same day that we should always be on. And just happy to be back. Happy to be back. Got some great news right before the show.
Oh yeah, we did.
How do we get anything, dude? How do we get anything at all?
Well, today should be a celebration day in a lot of ways.
I agree. There should be a celebration day, ladies and gentlemen. There should be. And that's because Sky Moore got traded to the San Francisco for a future 6th or 7th rounder. And if you don't know why San Francisco is so desperate right now, Demarcus Robinson got put on a 3-game suspension today. Brandon Ayuk still not healthy. Jennings is hurt. They literally have nobody for Purdy. So now they're in desperation mode down there in San Francisco. And that's the scary view. Desperation view in San Francisco. And they went after anybody they can get. And they know the Chiefs have 8 receivers on their roster and one of them with Super Bowl experience. So
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
one of these shows.
Well, somebody's at Quick Trip, I guess.
So, yes. Guys, let's start off here. I don't think you guys are doing anything here. JG, are you drinking anything?
Yes. Yeah, I got the non-alcoholic Heineken, actually. I'm drinking Heineken right now, dude.
Good.
Yeah, it's 0%.
Heineken, but it's non-alcoholic, for the record.
Oh, good Lord.
Are you drinking anything?
No, I'm on the water, man. I hit my caloric intake for the day. I just got the water today.
I was having this podcast today. We got a little Forester and Coke Zero, so can't go wrong with that here once again. So, but guys, regardless, let's get into it here. We got lots to talk about here. Lots to talk about. Let's talk about some Chiefs. Okay, let's talk about Chiefs. Preseason week 2 just wrapped up. No starters. Well, some starters, but mostly no starters. Kind of surprising, but it was okay. I thought it was okay. Let's start out here. What mattered? What was the noise? What are we thinking about here for preseason week 2? Mike, I'll let you kick us off.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it kind of made sense to hold out the key players on the team because it was rainy up in Seattle, and there was actually a few nagging injuries throughout that game that kept popping up,
Yes.
and a few guys that had to miss time throughout that game. So that was pretty annoying to watch. And so for me, that really it was not a good game whatsoever. If you're the Chiefs, I don't know that we learned a lot other than I would say that the interior second string D line is pretty bad as expected.
Yes.
I think that Jack Cochran's not as good as Nick Bolton, obviously. We saw Josh Williams get beat for a touchdown, which and we've talked good things about him overall. And then Najee Johnson had a good pass breakup in the end zone. So, that's still a battle to watch in training camp, or now that training camp's over, but battle to watch here throughout this preseason. And I think week 3 coming up is going to be more telling signs of who's going to win that battle in the end between Williams and Najee Johnson. So for me, I mean, it was an ugly game. It wasn't necessarily enjoyable, but yes, I stayed up until 11:45 to watch the whole damn thing.
That's right.
So,
you're in bed by midnight, though.
Oh, I was finishing it in bed. I was laying in bed whenever it was going on. And I just assumed the second it was over, I turned that TV off and that was it. But yeah, for me, it was hard to take away a lot of positives just because you didn't see a lot of people stand out. I think Jeffrey Bossa still looked really good. I think he still made some plays that were nice.
Yeah.
One great big tackle for loss once again in the backfield. And he's the guy we've been talking about since we saw him at training camp, obviously. And then as far as the wide receivers go on the other side of the ball, it wasn't a ton to get excited about. I mean, it was just one of those games where we're just trying to get through it, I think. It seemed like it's funny enough, preseason week 3, Andy Reid already said everyone's playing. So starters back on. So obviously they looked at week 2 as just a throwaway game.
Let's get through it. Let the young guys play. Get through the game.
Yep.
JG, what was your takeaways here, man, for preseason week 2?
Yeah, I think it might seem to a lot of people as a useless game because, obviously it doesn't matter. But I mentioned this, I think, last week when we talked about preseason week 1, the fact that Gardner Minshew was 7 of 9 passes in week 2 for 70 yards. And I think that having a quality backup quarterback, it can be more important than you think. It's always like an insurance policy. It's like a situation where you hope that you never have to see that guy. But if you do, I mean, Gardner Minshew he would be starting, guys. If he was on the Indianapolis Colts right now, he'd be the starter. And that's a different story. That's a trash team right now with a trash quarterback. But that's my positive from this game is the fact that Gardner Minshew looked pretty good. The other thing that I would say that you can say that it mattered was the Seattle Seahawks offensive line and their running game. I think that's going to be the theme for their season. And, I know that the Chiefs had a lot of backups in there, but for me, the Seahawks are probably going to win that division. And that was a big deal to me to see how their offensive line was going to operate and how amazing that running game is going to be. And I think that's real for me. Another thing that really didn't matter to me at this point, I guess, would be the Sky Moore 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. That didn't really matter because we traded his ass. So you guys can talk about that a little bit more in depth, but I was actually in some ways I was a little bit of a Sky Moore fan, but not really. So I don't know. That it was kind of a nothing burger in terms of the game in week 2.
Yeah. I mean, it really was. I mean, I think the biggest thing we saw from an offensive perspective is the separation of Tonyan and Wiley at the tight end position. The separation. Tonyan's involved. Tonyan knows how to make those the scrambles, work and be open. Like we saw in the end zone there on the scramble from Zappy, I believe it was, throwing the ball. Wiley, he was involved. He was he was being fed, but it wasn't nothing spectacular. It was just, casual routes and stuff. Tonyan, who got a little bit more creative. I think that's the biggest thing I took away. It's just the biggest separation of tight end 3. Having it right there has to be Robert Tonyan at this point. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I
so
agree with
just
that.
A little disappointment with Wiley and the way it's turned out. I know he's been hurt and everything else like that, but yeah.
Yeah, Tonyan's been a positive because I think, whenever he was originally signed to a futures contract earlier this year, we weren't sure what we were going to get out of him, especially after he had a full year off from football. So it looks like he's come back and he's healthy and, getting open. I mean, he's going to be a really good tight end 3 for this team, in my opinion. So, and, as far as Wiley goes, it's just he's along for the ride and he's a project. So we'll just, I guess, hang on to him and see what we can make out of it.
In the end, we saw Brownlee get a lot of snaps and special teams work. If he's going to make the team, Mac, you mentioned it, he has to play special teams. And, I think he had maybe one tackle in special teams, but I wouldn't say that he looked the most comfortable in the special teams part of things there for Brownlee. It's the kind of guy we're watching outside of Remigio. So,
yeah, I mean, it's just going to be tough for Brownlee to make this team with the situation. I mean, at least now Sky Moore's done with. We don't have to worry about that competition. He's really – it's all down to Brownlee versus Tyquan Thornton versus Nico. And the team really likes Tyquan Thornton. And I know that the staff is enamored with him right now. And then Nico, I mean, I think Dave Tobes already said he's a lock basically. So to me, Brownlee just ends up having to be the odd man out, which of course we're going to I'm hoping we can get him on the practice squad afterwards and hang on to him in some capacity. But otherwise, it's just if you're new to special teams at this point and you're the 7th receiver, 8th receiver on this team, then it's going to be hard to find a spot for you on the roster.
Agreed. Let's keep moving here. Let's talk some cut candidates here. Preseason week 3 lining up here. We're looking at the roster here, guys. What are some guys that most people might think stick around that he might be a cut candidate, or just in cut candidate in general for yourselves for this team after preseason week 3 watches with the starters in? JG, we'll start with you, man. Name a couple cut candidates on your list for this team.
Yeah, I'll give you one here, man. For me, it's going to be Elijah Mitchell. And the reason for Elijah Mitchell being cut is that I think that the team believes that Kareem Hunt has something left in the tank. And, Brashard Smith looks really, really good, particularly in that last game. So I think Elijah Mitchell would be the guy that I would cut at this point.
Okay. Mike, who do you got?
Yeah, there's a couple guys that kind of stand out to me right now as cut options. And we could talk about Josh Williams, especially after giving up that touchdown last week. It might be the writing on the wall with the rest of the defensive cornerbacks coming into position with Noel Williams and Christian Fulton, of course. He just might be the odd man out there at cornerback. And then the other one is a guy we added back to the team who'd been on this roster a couple years before. Mike Edwards might be a guy who is actually on the way out. He actually was playing in the fourth quarter of that game this past week. And, now that we've seen kind of the emergence of Chris Roland Wallace, a guy who's had playing time in the playoffs, made some interceptions, made some plays here and there in his career as a Chief in his short amount of time. I don't think you're going to keep 5 safeties. So, you're looking at Shamari Connor and Roland Wallace being your guys with Edwards being the odd man out there. So I think those are the two to really watch out for. Now, obviously, Felix Anduke-Uzama went to IR. So at this point, that he's no longer someone to consider as a potential cut. And then there's another guy on the O-line, actually, that could be a potential cut. And that's a Wanye Morris, believe it or not. I know that'd be a surprise. Just somebody to watch for that maybe has fallen out of favor with the staff. They're wanting a guy that can be a proper pass protector on the outside. And, with Jalen Moore, obviously, addition, Jawan Taylor still part of the team. We've seen Esa Pohl actually stand out pretty well at left tackle at times. And he might be a guy that the Chiefs are more comfortable with being a true left tackle backup on this roster compared to Wanye Morris. So just someone to watch out for. I'm not saying for sure he will be cut, but it's a possibility in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll drop a couple here on top of that, right? So you already talked about Joshua Williams. We talked about Elijah Mitchell in this place. I think Rashard Smith is still in the loop of being cut. Carson Steele. On top of it, I think Jerry Tillery is honestly probably on that list as well from a depth piece here. I think we might
add back Derek Nottie. He's about to be released by the Jets.
He's about to be released. I know. So I'm waiting for that news too.
Out Tillery and Nottie is what's going to end up happening here.
Yeah, so somebody that knows our defense and can be a run stopper once again for that team. I like Mike Edwards' pick because I think he's right there with it too. I'm gonna give you one big surprise, and it's because he's not been impressive these preseason games when he's in there. He's been bullied around by linebackers. He's been bullied, period. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if we pull the string or pull the cord on Kingsley right away. Just, hey, you ain't cutting it. He's been ran over. He's needed assistance. I'd rather have Caliendo in this spot right now because at least I know a guy there that's not going to get as bullied and we can work around him like we did within the playoffs. Kingsley has not been impressive at all. At all. It has not been good. And I could just see them being like, hey, we're in the preseason games, for God's sake, man. And you're getting bullied.
That'd be a tough call for Brett Veach to do that. Just especially considering just a year ago he was a second-round pick. So I mean, to me, Kingsley's a guy that I can't see them giving up on that quickly, especially when the O-line already has some depth issues.
Yeah.
So that would be.
I'm just saying, like a surprise here that wouldn't be a surprise in a way. Like it could happen. I mean, preseason week 3 is big for him right now too. Working with the starters, having Mahomes back there and all in multiple drives, possibly. That's the thing.
Well, that's what I was confused about in week 2 was that, for some reason, a guy like Kingsley needs to be playing like 3/4 of that game. Yes. He got pulled out along with the rest of the O-line during that situation. I mean, to me, I was like, why would you not leave a project, which clearly he's still a project, in the game longer to get more reps? Because, I mean, it's just you're better off doing that than you are just, after the first quarter taking him out like they did the rest of the O-line. Because he's just not ready yet to be considered a solidified starting left guard, in my opinion.
He's not. He doesn't look good, and I hope when we get to regular season, it's like all of a sudden switches, and we go from there, of course. But at the moment, it's a little bit of a worry for me. A little bit of a worry.
There's fans out there chiming. They want Dalton Reisner to come to KC, the former K-State Wildcat, of course. But yeah, we'll see. I guess he's available at the moment, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if he's going to help us that much. So. We'll see on that here. So speaking of here, continuing with Chiefs here, preseason week 3 is among us here on Friday night. The Chicago Bears coming to Arrowhead. Arrowhead's first game of this preseason and only game. Mike and I are going. JG, I don't know if you're going. You haven't. I don't know if you're going or not because you haven't told me. But you're more than welcome to come and hang out. It's gonna be a good time, like it always is. But preseason week 3, starters are supposed to play multiple drives. We should see a little better showing here. Chicago played their starters last week, so it might be a bunch of scrubs here this week for Chicago. But what do we anticipate seeing? What are we thinking about? A lot of position battles here in the second half of this game. We all know this for those depth pieces. But what we look forward to preseason week 3, JG?
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you invited me to that thing, and I never chimed in on that. I probably will. I think I'm going to go to the game with you guys.
Okay.
But the only thing I'm going to be watching the whole time is Kingsley.
Yeah.
Because that's at this point that's the only thing that matters, and I don't believe that I don't think we're going to cut his ass, but. I think that's going to be the thing that I'm going to be watching for in week 3.
Okay. I like that. I agree with that. I think I'll be right there with you. Mike, what are we thinking?
Yeah, I'm hoping we get 2 full drives out of Patrick Mahomes with these receivers is what I want to see. Obviously, you're holding back a little bit with your superstars like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and things like that. But I mean, it would just be nice to see, a couple passes come their way before we get into week 1, just to kind of, I don't know, man, just get in some kind of an in-game rhythm, I suppose, before we play the Chargers here in a couple of weeks. And, Travis Kelce doesn't need to play. It's okay. The guy's about to be 36 years old in October. We can give him a break. I get that. But
yeah, we feel that.
Otherwise, I would just like to see, week 3 preseason is typically the week where the coaching staff actually does put together basically a game script for that opening drive. Basically, that's their preseason practice right there is to put something together. So that first week 1, the Chiefs had a short field to work with immediately and scored within 3 plays. So we got to see Patrick Mahomes throw, 1 pass for 1 yard and 1 touchdown. And that was it. So I think in this situation, we're going to want to see this team come out almost as they would in a real game with a proper, first, 15 to 20 plays scripted, basically. So I'm hoping we get to see some of that. But for me, as far as, the battles and stuff like that to watch along the way, I want to see a lot more from if we can get some more Umar Norman Lott going on this team. Jerry Tillery does look like a bum to me. So I will be okay if he ends up getting out of this organization and we pick up Derek Nottie instead. So that's kind of what I'm looking for the most. Obviously, still a big fan of watching Jeffrey Bossa right now. Hope he gets a lot of playing time in this game. And then, we kind of got a little battle as well with Cam Jones on the back end. You got Jack Cochran, Cam Jones, and Cole Christensen here at the linebacker, that fifth linebacker basically on this team. And I think Cam Jones is probably the guy that's going to win that job. more than anybody else. And Cochran, you're a special teams guy at the end of the day that might be going to IR. Actually, he's got a bone bruise on his knee, so he might be out for a few weeks at least before he returns. So I'm expecting to see some good things out of that. And then otherwise, we got a big battle at cornerback. We haven't seen Christian Fulton really do anything yet. And I think the battle between Nazi and Josh Williams, like this week right here, is the one it all comes down to if Josh can make this team. So those are the things I'm looking forward to coming up in preseason week 3. And after the thing's all over, man, we're just getting ready for Brazil and getting pumped for the real thing.
That's right. And Brazil it'll be a fun time. I can't wait to talk about that here in a couple of weeks here. But yeah, I'm right there with you though. Linebackers being one. We'll have to see exactly how that works out. I think the secondary, you include Noel Williams into that conversation too. He might not be on the cut board, but he's fighting for the depth chart piece and possibly being, a fourth guy at this point, or fourth, fifth at this point. So leaving Joshua Williams most likely out of the picture here if he don't perform. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, offensively, just the battle of the receivers. Let's see what happens. I think you're right. Nico is probably going to get the spot, but it'll be fun to see what Brownlee can put together on his final preseason game. Be fun to see what Taekwon brings to the starters as well. So, yeah, I'm down for it, man. There's a lot of position battles, a lot of fun times to have here. Like I said, we'll be at the game Friday night, and it'll be a good time. It'll be nice to get back in those seats and look down and be in the stadium with everybody. So, big time. Yeah. Any final Chiefs thoughts, guys, before we move on?
I'm just glad that we're inching closer day by day to week 1 is all. The preseason, the Chiefs under Andy Reid historically have not been a good preseason football team, and that goes back to 2013, of course. And it's always, I always think about that and how we really go out there and fiddle around, to put it lightly, throughout the preseason. We will actually be ahead in some games, but find ways to lose. And then it's almost like we're doing it on purpose sometimes. And I think it's kind of interesting how that's worked out. And, in 2012, I remember that preseason game, week 1, we played the Cardinals, and that we had Peyton Hillis on the roster. And I thought the team looked amazing in week 1 of that year preseason. And that was a year we went 2-14. So, that was obviously the year before Andy Reid came along. But, just at the end of the day, obviously the wins and losses and how things look or don't really matter, because once the real thing comes along, everything's different. Mm-hmm. The energy's different and things can come alive. You could still nitpick pieces like Kingsley, who's not shown that he's capable at this point. But the rest of the aspects of the roster, I'm not worried about at all, really. I'm just ready to get to the real thing,
Yeah, spoken right. That's why when Kira asked me the other day, did the Chiefs win? I had to go back and look, and I'm like, I don't think so, but let me double check because I wasn't really looking at the score.
Did you tell her she's asking the wrong question, but right idea?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
That little douchebag Zach Bryan got on Twitter again, and he goes,
is he back at it?
He said, Chiefs fans, how about those preseason games? How do they look?
Seriously? Now we're talking preseason trash?
God.
Yeah.
The only thing I know for sure is that if I go to that preseason game with you guys next week, is that we're gonna find some girls. The only thing that matters, man. Who cares about the game? See what these girls are up to. And you guys know that, like, with we found some girls last year. Let's see what happens this year.
Yeah.
See what happens.
You might find the same ones.
Find some girls, dude. Find some girls.
Hey, we know where those girls sit at. You could go find them. You know where they're at.
Jeez.
Yeah, and if you fail, that you're I'm gonna give you guys we get a reward every freaking year. If you lose on that particular girl, then you sit in the suite with Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
So it's like what do we call that? A win-win situation, or is it a lose-lose situation? I don't know what it is, but we found some girls in that preseason game, and then we found Taylor Swift after that. So
All I know,
Try to do that
Who
again.
really gives a damn? Just
all I know is I got one text to make, and it's around where you guys found the girls at the bar. So I got a spot to go.
Tanner's got his text to make while we're there, so we'll probably run into him again.
Because we're going right next to where you guys were, because I got my drink to go get.
All you have to do for the rest of your life, boys, is just find some girls. Find some girls. That's all.
Find some girls.
Well, especially a Friday night preseason game, you know they're going to be drunk out there. I mean,
oh yeah,
easy pickings for you, dude.
Oh, they'll be freaking hammered. It's going to be amazing. And I'm glad you guys invited me to that bullshit because
have them come back to the hotel with the hot tub. They could stay in the hot tub.
That's a bad.
I'll be there right now.
Yeah, Alan. Talking trash in the preseason's old people trash talking in bingo. Yeah, exactly what it is.
Oh yeah.
That guy, what a disappointment he is. But we won't get into that. Won't get into that here. All right, guys, let's move on. We'll talk about a little fantasy football here because guess what, guys? We are on the verge of the final couple weeks of fantasy football drafts. This is where it all gets fun. It all gets interesting. Labor Day weekend is around the corner. Biggest fantasy football drafting weekend in the U.S., period. So be ready for all that. Today's fantasy topic, green flag or red flag? I got 3 players for you. We'll keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple here. 3 players for you. I want to know if you have a green flag with them or if they are a big old red flag. So this is for me scouting your fantasy picks this year, Jason. And don't you worry. I want you to tell the audience truthfully what it's about. So first off, we're going to start here. Jayden Reed, Green Bay Packers receiver. Currently right now, ADP 102. It's on Fantasy Pros, that is. Best pick on Fantasy Pros is 65. Worst, it's been 142. Is this guy a green flag or a red flag for you in fantasy this year?
As much as I would like to hate on this guy, Jayden Reed, I just can't do it because the reason why I would like to hate on him is because that's one of Mike's keepers right now. And Mike's going to get a good price on Jayden Reed, but I can't go red flag on this guy, man. Like, he looked amazing last year in terms of his talent, and I'm going to go green light on Jayden Reed.
Green flag. All right.
Green flag, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of people, all they care about is freaking drops. Well, man, that can only get so bad, you know? Like, you can destroy a guy's career if the only thing you ever talk about for the rest of your life is his drops. Like, at some point they're going to fix that, and that's what I think is going to happen with Jayden Reed. They're going to fix that problem with his drops. I think he had 10 drops last year, and everybody in fantasy is just sitting there saying, "Oh, he's a horrible freaking player." I can't do it, man. He's going to flip the script on that. So I'm going to give you a green flag on Jayden Reed.
Okay. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as Jason said, he's one of my keepers this year. And the reason I kept him was because I got great value with him. I'm only giving up a 13th round pick to hold on to Jayden Reed. And for me, I mean, you got to understand what he's going to be and present from my team. He's not going to be a WR3 or even probably a WR4. He's a WR5 or 6 on my roster, particularly with the way I do things, which to me is perfect for a guy like this because, I mean, the guy this past year had 857 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns, 55 catches. But don't forget, he also had 20 rushes for 163 yards and a touchdown as well. So they do like to use him out of the backfield in many different situations, and he's fast as hell. I mean, and they got a lot of good receivers in Green Bay right now. I mean, you got Matthew Golden, who was just drafted, Christian Watson. Speaking of rough hands, Christian Watson, obviously, still a part of the team. You got Dontavian Wicks. I almost forgot about that guy. Jayden Reed and Romeo Doubs, of course. But for me, Jayden Reed is their ideal WR2.
What about Mecole? You ain't gonna talk about Mecole?
Oh, I'm not talking about Mecole Hardman. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Mecole Hardman anymore. We've moved on from the Mecole talk. Hey, thank you, Mecole, for all you did in your time in KC. But hey, we're okay. We're going to be in better hands going forward. So at least we have guys on this team that can run routes now. So that's really all I'm worried about. Anyways, yeah, I like Jayden Reed as a green flag, just because if you can get him at good value, as you said, his ADP, what is it in PPR?
102.
102. Yeah, I still like that because there's still great upside. And going into year 3 for a wide receiver like him, probably going to be 1,000-yard season. So I'm going to say Jayden Reed, go ahead and grab him at 102 as maybe your WR4 in your case. You know what I mean? Those people out there listening anyway.
Yeah, I'm taking green flag as well. Just what you said there. I love the Matthew Golden being able to be on the opposite side of him, hopefully, and be able to just run with him. I mean, they still got Dubs, right? Christian Watson. Will the guy ever be healthy for more than 8 games, right? So who really cares there?
Enough, similarly to like Percy Harvin was back in the day with the Vikings. Similar style of usage and skill set as far as being able to do things out of the backfield and up on the line of scrimmage as a split out wide, So I just like that he's pretty versatile that way. So you're always going to have a way to get him the ball, basically.
Yeah, no, and you're right. Yeah, he's going to be around the ball. He's going to be fed the ball. This is still a green value, guys, a green flag. He's still around. This is still a pick to make for Jayden Reed in your fantasy teams, in your fantasy leagues. Do not shy away just because of the Matthew Golden pick. There's more value there than you think on a Green Bay offense that's going to go out and throw the ball a lot. So be ready on that. All right, next up here, Rhamondre Stevenson with the New England Patriots. Right now, ADP of 108. This is a little bit of an interesting running back dilemma there in New England, especially after these few preseason games. But Mike, we'll let you kick this one off here. Rhamondre Stevenson, green flag, red flag.
Yeah, I'm actually finally backing away from Rhamondre Stevenson, and I've always kind of liked him as a decent back, But there's this little factor now on this team that I'm a big fan of that's going to steal some of the thunder, and that's Trayvon Henderson. So that's going to change things because he's such a dynamic weapon, and that was a guy that I wanted the Chiefs to take a look at, actually, and we did bring him in for a visit. And we saw right away in preseason week 1, Henderson catching a screen pass, taking it to the house. You're going to see that. We saw it at Ohio State, same kind of thing. I just think he's smooth and fast, and once they realize he's a home run hitter, which Stevenson's not, they're going to be feeding the ball to Henderson more than anything else. So for me this year, I'm starting to fade off of Rhamondre Stevenson, even though he's had some decent years previously, just because I think it's one of those situations, we had in Kansas City, to use an example, at the same time of Thomas Jones, we also had Jamal Charles, who was coming up at around the same time period. And, the team was starting Thomas Jones for a few weeks, but the hot hand, you couldn't lay off him. You started having to feed the ball to Jamal. And, knowing that there was always that threat of taking it to the house at any moment. And slowly but surely, the team finally backed off Thomas Jones enough and started giving Jamal the ball. So I think the same thing's going to happen in New England.
Okay. JG.
Yeah, I'm going to go green light on Rhamondre Stevenson because, I think he's a proven commodity, man. Like, everybody's going to sit there and say that, oh, this guy sucks, but like he's still pretty young, man. He's not like an old piece of crap, but I think that
27.
Rhamondre Stevenson could do. He's going to have a great year, man.
Stevenson here for me. He's a green flag for where he sits. McDaniels, right, is the OC. Back to the OC, right? Still with variable. I'm not crazy about this. Google isn't lying to me.
No, you're good.
Okay, so you're looking at a guy that likes to run split running back schemes. Okay, so Trevion, he's going to get his role. I think Rhamondre is going to be right there with him, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a little Gibson action towards the second half of the season as well.
You got but what's the ADP? Is it 108? Like
108. 108.
Who cares? Like, just take a stab.
108.
Dude, that's a green light on that piece of shit.
I like Stevenson. He's where he's at 108. I will take him. I will draft him here, and it's just because the way the Patriots offense runs. Period. It's just the way the scheme's going to be this year, and he's going to get his touches. He's going to, it may not be in the past like it was, but he's going to get his touches. And Trevion's not going to get it all the way taken over immediately beginning the season either. So, give me a green flag for Stevenson in this one here. Next up, interesting one, guys. Jerry Jeudy. Now, we're talking about the damn Browns here, for God's sakes, okay? Talking the guy that's being ADP as 71 currently on the Cleveland Browns. Jerry Jeudy. Are we red flag? Are we going to red flag or green flag this guy? JG, kick us off. Final guy.
I tried my ass off right now, dude. I've actually got it in my notes. My notes right now say red flag. I just can't freaking do it because that those quarterbacks are so freaking bad. You don't even know who the freaking quarterback is and who
Joe
cares?
Flacco. Joe Flacco's named starter.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe for 2 games, but like nobody even cares who the quarterback of the Browns is. And that's you're going to be tanking for the whole season. So they're going to be tanking for Arch Manning, and you're going to be getting a lot of yards coming from behind. And so that's why I do like Jerry Jeudy as a green flag. I wanted him as a red flag.
You just said red flag, dude.
No, I wanted him. I wanted him as a red flag, but I can't do it, man.
Okay.
Give me a green flag because they have no freaking quarterbacks, no freaking receivers. What do they got? David and Njoku? Who the hell gives a fuck? Nobody gives a fuck about that bullshit. So I'm going to go green flag on Jerry Jeudy. I changed my mind at the last second.
Hey, green flag for Jeudy for JG. Okay. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, no, and I got a good reason for Jeudy, similar to my previous one. And he's right now ranked as wide receiver 32 in PPR, which to me, what's funny is there's a guy that's right behind him on the Browns organization. Their WR2 is ranked like WR60, and that's Cedric Tillman. And to me, that's the guy I would much rather have my eyes on for the value is the Cedric Tillman, getting him much later in the draft for much cheaper than having to waste a pick on Jerry Jeudy. He's probably going to go in the 6th round in a lot of cases. Just with a situation with a quarterback like that and a little bit of an injury history, that some nagging injuries, strains and stuff like that to come along with Jeudy. And of course, we could always go on about some of his antics on the field and kind of hot-headed, whatever. That's maybe a different topic, I suppose. But I was looking at from Draft Sharks, his injury potential possibility from this year. They analyze these things on every player. And right now he's a medium risk injury, but his chance of injury in 2025, they say, is 45%, which is pretty dang high. That's high to miss at least like a game's worth, basically. So, I mean, for me as WR32, which means you're probably going to go 6th or 7th round. I'm a red flag on Jerry Jeudy. I just don't like the value there compared to, especially to Cedric Tillman, a guy we've talked about before. So that's where I roll it.
He's gonna fall, dude. I think that's a guy that's gonna fall, and I think a lot of leagues he's gonna fall into the 6th, 7th, or 8th round. And I'm just like, man, I would take him in the 8th round because he could get you some value on there if he falls to the 8th round.
That he can. That he would provide there. So
everything has a price, right? You know what I mean? If Jeudy falls to the 8th or 9th, then we could maybe talk about it more compared to his current ADP.
Yeah, at his current ADP, 72. Is that what it said? 72? Yeah, 71. Yeah, 71. But here's the thing for me. I'm not shying away from it. So I'm not quite marking him a red flag.
Well, someday.
I'm not shying away from it. This is a guy that also finished, what was he? 90 of his 144 targets, securing them with 1,229 receiving yards last year. Yeah, no, I'm not shying away from him at all. And there's not really much competition out there for him, too. Cedric Tillman's nice and all at his ADP. He's going to get the number 2. He's going to get his reps, but Jerry Jeudy's going to be the guy of the offense. This is the offense for the Browns outside of Njoku.
Joe Flacco. You probably shouldn't draft any Browns at all, guys. I mean, if we're being honest.
Except for
That's probably true.
You could take Deshaun Watson because he likes to get his dick sucked. But other than that, don't draft fucking Browns. Fuck.
Yeah, take Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders, because he's got a lot of attention on ESPN,
I've seen people take him in a best ball ADP in the 13th round, 14th round. Just blows my mind. But whatever. I ain't gonna discuss that. But no, Jerry Jeudy for me, guys. I'm not shying away from him if he's at the right spot, depending who's all going to be around there. But if I'm looking for a receiver at this point here, I'm probably gonna take that stab at him here. This is a guy that will get the ball. Joe Flacco's throwing the ball, so I feel a lot better about that than I do anybody else on that roster at this point. Maybe Deshaun, I'll be okay because he's gonna force feed him, but that'd be it. So, no. Amari Cooper got traded last year. Was he with the Browns?
Who cares?
Yeah, he went to the Bills for part of the year.
That's right. He got traded to the Bills. That's right. So Amari Cooper is still on the free agent list. So I ain't too worried about that. Jerry Jeudy is the guy. Give me the green flag. I'm taking him. Taking him.
Green flag, you motherfucker.
I'm not taking any Browns. I'll tell you that much.
I'm avoiding the Browns, but again, I'm not. If it comes to value part, I'll grab them. All right. Next up here, 2-minute warning, guys. This should be really quick here so we can get the heck out of here and enjoy the rest of our Wednesday night. And hopefully watch the Royals sweep the Rangers if they don't screw it up here at the end here. Tonight's 2-minute warning is we're going to name the NFC division winners. Okay, NFC division winners. That's all you got to tell me tonight. We're not going to do a show off of it. We're not going to do a show breaking down all the divisions. We'll just use our 2-minute warning and we'll give you our prediction of the division winners. So, JG, give me your division winner of. Let's start with the North, the NFC. Sorry, let's start with the East. NFC East: Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders. Who wins that division?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles, man. I'm gonna go because I think that the Giants, I think, are going to be the team that steps forward here. I think the defense for the Giants is going to be better. Nobody actually gives a fuck as much as they want to pretend that they do about the Dallas Cowboys.
Commanders.
I hesitate to use the R word, so we'll just call them the Washington football team. The Washington football team would probably come in second, but I like the Eagles, man. I think they have a great front office. I'm not saying that because I have a family member in their front office, but maybe I will, and just like they tend to know exactly what the hell they're doing. And so I'm going to go with the Eagles as the division winner.
First repeating division winner in 10 years? That'd be crazy.
Doesn't matter.
To see it.
Doesn't matter.
Mike, who you got? NFC East.
Yeah, I like his reasoning. The Eagles are a good team still, obviously. But did you guys know that the hottest team to finish out the regular season last year was Washington Commanders? They finished off with 5 wins in a row to finish off the year, and obviously before the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Commanders and taking the next step forward. I mean, last year, keep in mind, there's still 12 wins in that division. 12 wins. Eagles had 14. Yeah. Just take one more step forward, and I think you're right there, and you can take care of business. I got the Commanders this year to take care of the East.
Sounds great. Well, I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys this year. I think the Eagles do what they do. They still win 11 games, 12 games. I think the Commanders are right there with 10-ish. I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys right now to win that division.
Drunk, dude.
Oh, boy. All right, Tanner.
You're drunk as hell, man. Hey, man, you need to go to a meeting. I'll go to the meeting with you tomorrow if you want to do something like that.
Okay, we'll talk about it. NFC North: Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings. Who wins it, Mike?
Yeah, you got to give me the Lions once again. I still think that they're a team that's still either right where they were last year or still trying to get on the rise there, and it's just a lot of talent on offense, and I'm a big fan of a lot of those guys. I love the talent of Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it's perfect for Jared Goff. And their defense, keep in mind, I mean, they had a ton of injuries last year. You got a bunch of guys coming back now. They're going to be ready to be a part of this team. So 15-2 last year with all those injuries. Now you got a full defense back. So, yeah, give me the Lions.
JG.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the winner of that division as the Green Bay Packers. And it's not that I think that they're that much better than the Lions. It's just that that Detroit offensive line is not going to be as good as it was last year. So they had a couple of people that they lost on the offensive line for Detroit. Also lost their offensive coordinator. So, yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay, man. Green Bay, I think, you need Jordan Love to take a little bit of a step forward, and I think he's going to do that. So Detroit takes a little bit of a step back. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win the division.
I'm going Detroit Lions to win this division. I'm going the Minnesota Vikings to finish last.
Yeah, I like the Vikings to finish last as well, actually. I mean, I see the Bears improving. I see the Packers maybe improving a little. But yeah, Minnesota is going to fall off a bit, in my opinion. I agree with you on that.
Okay. NFC South, Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Bucks. Who we got winning this division? JG.
I gotta go. You guys shouldn't even have to ask me that question.
The Saints. Okay.
Never
got it.
If I have a guy with a last name that rhymes with Pennis, I'm probably going to go with the Pennis. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons to win this division because I think that Baker, as amazing as he is, and as amazing as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, I think they're going to take a step back this year because they were playing out of their minds last year. So I'm going to go with the Pennis, man.
Pennis. Did you sneak into the CBS studios? Did you put on the teleprompter of Pennis? Was that you?
I don't.
That looked like such a buffoon move on that one.
I appreciate you for saying that. I don't actually carry that much weight. But I probably should. But you know what? Yeah, the Pennis is going to win the division this year, so that's all I care about.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I got this division unfolding the exact same way as it did last year. I still like Tampa Bay at the top with the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints. So yeah, I like the Buccaneers to continue on just because I'm a believer in the boy Baker. We talked about that last week too.
Yep, I'm a Bucks guy. I got the Bucks finishing first here. I got the Falcons in third. So that's what I got this year for them. All right, finally the NFC West here: the Cardinals, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. What we got winning there? Mike, kick us off.
This is an interesting one. I mean, because 49ers took a huge step back last year. They had a bunch of injuries too. It's like now can they get back to the top again? I think the Rams are a team that it could take a step back further this coming year. I know Jason earlier said Seattle's probably going to win that division, but I also want to see Sam Darnold prove it once more in a different location with lesser receivers than he had in Minnesota. I think the 49ers get back on top. I'm going 49ers to win the West again after taking a year off.
JG.
Yeah, man, the whole thing hinges on whether you think Matthew Stafford is going to be healthy or whether he's not. And I mean, they've got some decent backups over there. I know you guys would disagree with me on this because I'm a big fan of Jimmy Garoppolo. And, I just think that, Seattle is going to win the division, no matter what, no matter how much I love Jimmy Garoppolo and no matter how much I love Matthew Stafford, the Rams are not the best team in that division. So I think it could be close based on Matthew Stafford's health. But I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks here.
The Rams win the division for me. The Seahawks finish last. That's what I got. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's what we got. That's what we got. That's our 2-minute warning. Let's get the hell out of here, guys. Let's get the hell out of here. We got Royals here. Rangers have bases loaded, top 9, 2 outs. For God's sakes, getting out here. We're on the verge. We're only 2.5 games back out of the wild card. Let's see if we can get there.
I'm ready for Friday, and then I'm ready for draft weekend.
Yeah, draft weekend's almost here. I've already had a couple big drafts. Excited for our draft. It's gonna be a fun time, a fun day in general. So
Finally.
I haven't mocked yet. I'll mock later. It's fine. I ain't worried about it. Ain't worried about it at all. So, all right, JG, you ready? You ready to get out of here?
Kick it off, baby. Kick it off.
All right, we'll be back next Wednesday. We'll be talking the results there of preseason week 3. Most likely talking about a little bit of cut day, what has happened, what's going to happen, what we might be surprised about. And as we kind of get ready for our big draft weekend, we'll be discussing a little bit more fantasy that weekend. And then the following week there, we'll be getting ready for week 1. Easy money bets return in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I want no part of that shit.
Oh yeah,
Easy money bets return in 2 weeks.
I make everyone money, dude. I make everyone out there listening money every single year.
In case you guys are wondering, yes, I am betting week 0 this weekend in college football. Yes, I will be betting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of week 1 next week of college football. And if you want to find my bets, come catch me on the Rec Room Sports Hub Saturday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll be dropping my bets. You guys can come tail with me until we can get this easy money bets thing rolling in the college football world. So excited to do that. And I was very, very excited to put down those 5 bets, six bets. Actually, now did a player prop yesterday for it. So K-State, Iowa State game actually too, but it'll be good. So I can't wait for that segment to return. Michael will win the winning percentage. That's fine.
Hell
KG has the chance to beat Mike. I won't have a chance to beat Mike because I'm betting more than just a single game. So there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting out of here.
Sometimes.
I'm betting more than 2 games at a time.
Oh, I know. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, we'll get out of here. Mike, get us out of here, dude.
Yo, I'll see you all on the next one.
Outro.